Well, James Monroe, he's definitely the last of the founder presidents. He's definitely the last of the presidents that was definitively a founder of the United States. John Quincy Adams is a weird one. He's the son of John Adams. So he grew up in the White House. He grew up traveling around the world on uh, political trips. His mother's Abigail Adams. Because of her, we know so much about history at the time with her correspondences. He is definitely not some random guy. He's definitely not a founder. He's definitely not part of the new generation, but he's kind of the transition. John Quincy Adams, he's the sixth president of the United States of America. He's president from March 4th, 1825 and March 4th, 1829. He's different. He doesn't really fit with the founders, but he definitely doesn't really fit as one of the next generations. So a lot of what we're going to talk about and read about in this isn't really a big deal with this unit, but that's because he kind of doesn't fit anywhere. And that's kind of the legacy of John Quincy Adams. He kind of didn't fit as a president. But the stuff that happens to him, around him, monumentally important. John Quincy Adams, sorry, as the sixth United States president, and he took office following the 1824 presidential election. That's a big one, in which he and three other Democratic Republicans, Henry Clay, William H. Crawford, and Andrew Jackson, we're going to talk about him again, sought the presidency. There was no preliminary party primary 6 months before the general election, as eventually would become the custom. Just anybody wanted to run. No candidate won a majority of the Electoral College votes, and so the United States House of Representatives chose the president in a contingent election. With the help of Clay, John Quincy Adams was elected to the House, and Clay became Adams' Secretary of State. It's important. Upon taking office, Adams articulated an ambitious domestic agenda. He envisioned a national marketplace in which the North and South, town and country, were tied together by trade and exchange. He was a supporter of Henry Clay's proposed American system. We'll talk about that in the future. He proposed major investments in internal improvements, including the construction of roads and canals, and the creation of educational institutions such as the National University, among other initiatives, to bring his vision to life. He had these grand plans. Due to meager support from the congressional leaders, however, his agenda was largely blocked by Congress. His support of the Tariff of Abominations, a protective tariff approved by Congress in 1828, devastatingly hurt his popularity among voters. The foreign affairs initiatives of the Adams administration fared only a little bit better, as many of the president's key initiatives were blocked by Congress. Didn't like him. Why? Well, the contentious nature of the 1824 election brought about the demise of the Democratic Republican Party and the emergence of a new era in American politics. Characterizing or telling the story of John Quincy Adams' victory as president, becoming president, as a result of a corrupt bargain between Adams and Clay, Andrew Jackson and his supporters, including Martin Van Buren and Vice President John C. Calhoun, spent the ensuing 3 years constructing an organization that would become the modern Democratic Party. The Democratic Party only exists as a party of vengeance to get Andrew Jackson elected because Andrew Jackson got the popular vote. John Quincy Adams didn't have the most electoral votes. He didn't have the popular vote, but Congress chose him anyways because his dad had been president. He seemed like a decent pick. And Henry Clay had also run, and he chose to give up his electoral college votes to Adams, so that way Adams could win. And to Andrew Jackson, that smelled funny. It's like, I had the most votes. What do you mean I don't get it? This is corrupt. Followers of the Adams administration organized themselves more loosely as the National Republican Party, but were unable to match the efforts of the Democrats under Jackson, who won the 1828 election in a landslide. Now, this National Republican Party is not the Republican Party of today, but it's also different from the Democratic Republicans earlier. It's this weird blip on the political radar, and the National Republican Party kind of appears and it quickly disappears. It was a failure, frankly. So John Quincy Adams, a president who doesn't fit in with the previous presidents because he's not really a founder. He was a boy when all that stuff was going on, but he's also definitely not the next generation like Andrew Jackson is going to be. So he's the rebirth of contest in American politics, because before him you have James Monroe and the political parties are going away. It's the era of good feelings, and John Quincy Adams is definitely the end of that. Hope you're learning and I hope you're having fun.